Hello everyone. Today we are going to write an introduction to using AppBlocks to build a console application. So let's get started. So first, let's create a console project. So we select a console app. Next, let's call this AppBlocks QuickStart. So now we have a console application created. Next, let's go and add the NuGet package. Excuse me. So let's go say manage NuGet packets. Let's go to browse. Let's look for AppBlocks.Autofac. Let's install it. Accept. Let's close this. Let's build it to make sure that everything was correctly installed. Okay, so that looks good. Next, let's add a lock config file. So let's do the add, and we'll add a new item, and we'll say config. Let's call it log4net configuration. Now, I expect you to be familiar with log4net configuration, and there's plenty of online documentation about how to write these configuration files. Here, I'm going to take a pre-written configuration and paste it to generate the necessary configuration that we need. So this is going to be our log4net configuration. Next, let's go add the application container builder, which is a class that helps generate, or rather configure, Autofac in our application. Let's call it an internal class, and for this we have to inherit from AppBlocks ContainerBuilder. So let's add that, and let's make sure that we use the right implementation. Let's do two things. We're going to generate a constructor, okay, and then we'll modify it, and then we also need to implement the abstract class. The only thing here that we are going to do is add this one line of code to make sure that all the services in this QuickStart assembly are registered with Autofac using AppBlocks. And one change that we want to do is, because we could pass this application mode in, but what I'd rather do is just pass that in as a constant value. Now we are going to write a service. So let's use this, and this is an interface, and let's add this, and we're going to add this one single method to this service called run. So now we have an interface with a method run. Next, let's go ahead and add a service class that actually implements this interface. So first thing we need to do is, let's make this public, and let's mark it as an AppBlocks service. Next, let's implement the iService interface. Okay. And there's two things that we want to do. Now, the output of this application is going to be via a log. Therefore, we have to add the log manager. Let's use the log manager, to create a logger for this class. So now that the logger is declared, we'll just write a statement in here to output something to the log when the method run is called. Now, what we have to do is in program, just make sure that we initialize our application container using the application container builder class that we've defined, and then make a call to the implementation of iService. But before we do that, we want to make sure that our log4net is initialized, and this is just code, this is standard code to register log4net. This is not anything specific to AppBlocks. And let's add a method here called, let's do this. And let's now add this method called run. Right? Run. And now let's fill this run method. I'm going to copy paste this from another place here, but I will explain what we are doing here. What we are doing here is, first, we're initializing our application container builder. We are creating an instance of application container builder class that we defined earlier, and we are going to use the build container method, which is implemented in, so let's go to implementation, and the build container method is implemented in AppBlocks Container Builder, which is native to AppBlocks. Once the Autofac container is ready, we can begin lifetime scope, get a scope, and resolve iService, and we can run this service. So this is how we can build a simple console application in .NET Core that can use AppBlocks framework. So let's do a build here. It all looks good. We can now do or run this in a PowerShell script. So let's get this going. I'll just bring this in view. Okay. And all we have to do here is .NET run. Okay, and there you have it. What we see here is something that's logging that is not something that you actually define as part of your code, which is this line here. This is automatically written to the log. And this is one of the things that makes AppBlocks powerful, because we have this one output here, service run call, which is the one that we wrote, which is in here, right? Service run call. However, what we also see here is the logging interceptor writing out to the log saying, I know that you call service.run method with no parameters, and it returned back. And this is one of the powerful mechanisms, as I said before, that can help us build more support-friendly applications. Well, thank you for watching. That's it, folks.